Students, today we are going to learn about mechanics. Mechanics is the branch of physics that deals with motion of objects with forces taken into account that cause the motion. So let us come to force. Force is a push or pull that can change or it tends to change the state of motion of an object, its direction, its speed or even its shape. So we can either push or pull the objects to apply force on them. These are different ways in which we can push or pull the objects, or we mean to say that we can apply force on the objects. There are two types of forces, balanced and unbalanced forces. Unbalanced forces are shown here. On the left hand side there is a person applying a force of 10 Newton, and on right hand side there are 3 people applying a total force of 30 Newton. So the rope will be pulled away in the direction of greater force. The net force you can see in this case is 30 minus 10, that is 20 Newton. So what are unbalanced forces? 2 or more than 2 forces whose resultant is not zero because they don't cancel each other. The other type is balanced forces. As you can see in this case, the rope is being pulled by 2 people from both the sides. So rope will not be moving in either direction because both the forces being equal and opposite will be cancelling each other's effect. So what are balanced forces? 2 or more than 2 forces that cancel each other and their resultant is zero. Now coming to Newton's laws of motion. Newton's first law is every body in this universe continues to be in its state of rest or uniform motion unless acted upon by an external unbalanced force. If we are having a book at one place, it will not move from its place unless we disturb it. What is the physical significance? It gives us definition of force. That is, force is something that can change the state of an object. Now Newton's first law, one illustration I can show you here. If we pull a cloth very quickly, the plates will not be broken. Second illustration, there is a bottle and a ring is kept over it and some nuts or screws are also kept over it. If we pull this ring very fast, then what will happen? Can you think? The hazelnut directly falls into the bottle. As many as nuts we can keep, they will directly fall into the bottle because of inertia of rest. Because what is the reason in both the activities that the coin or the nuts, they were at rest. So when the force is applied on the ring or on the card, only the card or the ring move. Other things, they fall directly into the bottle or glass under their weight. Coming to Newton's second law, you know, the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force applied. That means when we apply force on an object, it gets accelerated in the same direction as that of force. So force is change in momentum divided by time, final minus initial momentum, that gives us mv minus mu upon t. And since v minus u over t is acceleration, we get the formula of force F is equal to ma. So this is the physical significance of Newton's second law, that it gives us quantitative information about force or it gives us mathematical expression of force. And you know, out of the 3 laws, second law is called the universal or the real law of motion. Reason, both first and third laws can be derived from the second law. So this is F is equal to ma. One very uncommon illustration that the students confuse, why buffers are provided in bogies of the trains. So as to increase the time of impact and to decrease the change in momentum and hence to decrease the force applied. So the passengers sitting inside the bogies during shunting of the train, they won't get a jerk. They won't get injured. Next is Newton's third law. If we slap somebody, he will also slap us in back. So to every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, that is force on first object by second is equal and opposite to force on second object by the first. And why the motion is possible in this case? Both the objects will be moving because these two forces act on two different bodies. Law of conservation of linear momentum states that in an isolated system, what is an isolated system? In which net external force acting on the system is zero. Then initial momentum will remain equal to the final momentum. You are already familiar with the examples: recoil of gun, common velocity of bullet block system, rocket propulsion. So all those examples, wherever Newton's third law is applicable, momentum is conserved. Now I am going to show you some activities that I performed at home that will give you some information about Newton's first, second and third laws as well as conservation of momentum. Discuss the relation between impulse and momentum. Impulse, you know, that is given by product of force and time. Which force? That is the impulsive force that acts for a short moment of time, but its impact is very large. For example, kicking a football, hammering a nail into the wall. And what is time here? Time of impact. This is the time for which the impulsive force is acting on the object. Alright. So let us come to Newton's second law of motion. According to Newton's second law of motion, force is equal to rate of change of momentum. Cross multiply, we get dt is equal to f dt. Alright, now integrating both sides with the time varying from t1 to t2 and accordingly momentum varying from initial to final t1 to t2. In the next step, when we integrate, integral dt is t within the limits t1 to t2 and integral dt is t within the limits t1 to t2. So putting the upper limit minus the lower limit, we get T2 minus T1 is equal to F T2 minus T1. Alright. What is this final momentum minus initial momentum? That represents the change in momentum, and this is force into time, that is impulse. So impulse is equal to change in momentum. This is impulse momentum.
impulse is equal to change in momentum. This is impulse momentum theorem. That's why we say that impulse and momentum, they have identical units also. The units of impulse, force into time is Newton second, and 1 Newton is kg meter per second square into second. 1 second gets cancelled and we get kg meter per second, which is the unit of momentum. So we can say that impulse and momentum have same units.
To prepare the further topics of students, art integrated and experiential learning approach will be emphasized, wherein a video clip from an action movie will be shown, previous knowledge testing will be done, some do-it-yourself work will be given, a project-based development will be done, along with video trials, and in the end, to check whatever knowledge they have gained, testing will be done. Next, I'm going to show Tom Cruise movie clip from movie Night and Day, wherein he falls from a bridge onto a collapsing structure. He falls onto a collapsing structure from a bridge without harming himself, and he is increasing the time of impact by reducing the force and thereby reducing the injuries. And through augmented reality, the concept of apple falling from the tree will be shown, from where the idea of gravity triggered into the mind of Sir Isaac Newton. And an infographic will be shared with the students, wherein they can see the real life pictures of objects around them, helmet, car bags, and gymming pads, car bumpers, boxing gloves. Have a look at that. A very good tool to trigger their thinking process. Next, impulse momentum basics that we just recalled, they will be shown to them, that force and time of impact are inversely proportional to each other. Now, do it yourself. You remember that 90s Kapil Dev's cricketer flip book that we used to play with? So it will be shown to them and they will be preparing it with a great amount of interest. Then Newton's cradle, they will be given some threads, 5 balls and some stand with the help of which they can justify the law of conservation of momentum. So Newton's cradle will be developed by the students themselves. After that, balloon car will be given. They will be using some cardboard piece, a balloon, a straw, and some bottle caps. Very simple. And then not only this, it will be emphasizing their physics through this craft work, but also a race between their balloon cars based on Newton's third law of motion will also be conducted. And the knowledge of winner will maximum momentum they will also gain through this wonderful activity. Now we will be allotting a project. They are supposed to drop an egg from a height of 2 meters. So they have to design a device that will break the egg's fall and prevent the breaking of egg through this much height. So students will be divided into groups of 3 each, and a team leader will be selected by them, and each group will be given a set of instructions. They will be using these materials, some computer paper, and that basic egg catcher made up of wood, tissue paper, some thread, elastic bands, and sellotape, and a plastic egg may be given to avoid the mess. Then problem definition. First of all, they will sit together as a team and they will be drawing some rough designs. And then after discussions, after discussing the pros and cons of each design, they will come to a final draft, and that will be discussed by the team leader. So the students will do the calculations, they will define the problem, and they will perform a set of calculations to understand physics of the problem. So each student will contribute to this assignment by writing individual first drafts, and all those drafts will be merged and developed into final version. So then they will think upon the advantages and disadvantages. They will be drawing their annotated diagrams from different angles, and for this purpose They will be provided some resources also. They can discuss with the teachers. They can go to the library as well. They can surf the net also. And these are some alternative designs that my students have designed. You can see in the first design, there is a mesh of bands. And in the second design, what is so important, the mesh has been kept at the top, right? And but it is loose. It is not bound from the bottom. In the third design, there is a cone in the middle and elastic bands, they have been attached there, and it is also tied from the bottom. So these are the resources as I discussed. So now they will be deciding which is the best design. Which design is avoiding the breakage and rebounding of the egg. So best design will be chosen by the team leader based on pros and cons. So third design, for example, was the best because it is avoiding the breakage as well as rebounding of the egg. So now the development of final design into a prototype followed by video trial of one of the team members will be shown. So for example, one of the team members is showing the video testing. Is dropping the egg from a height of exactly 2 meters, and see that in slow motion now. That's great. So egg does not rebound, it did not crack as well. So what is the testing criteria? A means egg didn't break or crack even. That's very good. B grade will be given if the egg cracked. And C means egg broke, so that is total failure. And also I have prepared a Google form. The link is given here to test their knowledge that they have gained through this wonderful project. So what were the learning outcomes? Art integration has been introduced and they developed cognitive domain through Socratic method. Socratic method means asking more questions while answering a question. They learned teamwork and possible failure of their design. They are able to bear the failures in life also. And they also get the knowledge of industrial skills, how shockers, buffers, they can be manufactured based on this concept of impulse and change in momentum. They can explore alternative solutions from a solution space when n solutions are available. Technological literacy assignment, bearing a barcode and video of model, that is helping them build technological skills. Decision based on extending collision time and change in momentum reduction. Then 21st century skills are also developed, 4 C's and 3 L's as you can see. Let's discuss Artwood machine as an example of connected motion now. So we have a light inextensible string passing over a pulley as you can see, and two masses have been attached here with capital M greater than small m. You can imagine that capital M is an elephant and small m is a monkey on the other side. So obviously this mass will be moving up with some acceleration a, and this mass will be coming down with some acceleration a. So our aim is to find tension in the thread and acceleration of the system. So let us mark their free body diagram. So for capital M mass, its weight, capital Mg, is acting in the downward direction and T tension is acting in the opposite direction. For small mass, lighter mass, its weight is also acting vertically downwards and tension in the thread is acting in the opposite upward direction. So let us write the equations of motion for the masses. So first of all, for lighter mass, let us write the equation. So we will be taking the difference in the direction of acceleration. In this direction, we will be taking the difference of two forces, tension and weight. So how do we frame the equation? T minus mg is equal to net force, which is ma. Let us call it equation number 1. Now for the heavier mass, let us write the equation. For heavier mass, let us look at the free body diagram. So in the direction of acceleration, we'll take the difference, that is bigger force minus smaller force is equal to net force. So we'll be writing mg minus t is equal to ma. Let us call it equation number 2. Now by solving equation number 1 and 2, we'll be finding tension and acceleration of the system. So let us add equation number 1 and 2 first. Let us add the equation. See what do we get. Add left side to left side and right side to right. All right, so t gets cancelled and we write capital M minus small mg here and take acceleration common, and ultimately acceleration would be m minus m over m plus m into g. So this is our expression for acceleration of the system. Have a look at this. Is that clear? So by putting this acceleration in equation number 1 or 2, let us say put it in equation number 2, we can solve for tension also. So let us solve for tension in the thread by putting this expression for acceleration in equation number 1. And just we have to now apply mathematics, do the cross multiplication and solve this in the usual way. So we write T minus mg into m plus m. Let's open that bracket. mmg minus m square g. So open it. Tm plus m. Let us keep it as such because we are to find tension. Let's not open this bracket. Minus mmg minus m square g equal to mmg minus m square g. All right. So you can see on both sides we have this term minus m square g that will get cancelled, and we can write in further continuation T m plus m is equal to 2 mmg. As you can see, we can take 1 mmg on that side, it will get added up. So bringing it here, we get the final expression for tension in the thread, 2 mmg upon m plus m. So note down, this is the expression for tension in the thread. So this is how we do it. So have a look at the whole article once. So this is Artwood machine, a wonderful example of connected motion. So students, let's do a most common example of the law of conservation of momentum, that is recoil of a gun. So we are going to calculate the recoil speed of a gun when a bullet is fired. So this is our bullet that is being fired, right? Suppose we are having gun and bullet. Since gun is bigger, let us take its mass to be capital M and velocity to be capital V, and of bullet small m and small v. So we aim to find the recoil speed of gun. Capital V we are supposed to find. So let us see what happens before firing. Before we fire the bullet, both the gun as well as bullet are at rest. So initial momentum of the system is 0. But when the bullet is fired from a gun, after firing, the bullet also moves and we also experience some jerk on our shoulder. So that means gun has also recoiled in the backward direction. All right. So PF, final momentum, is momentum of the bullet plus momentum of gun. According to the law of conservation of momentum, since the system is isolated, no external force is acting here. So that's why initial momentum will remain equal to final momentum. So just put in the values and take mv on the other side, and recoil speed of gun becomes minus small mv by capital M. So this way we get an expression for recoil speed of gun. Let's comment upon this statement upon this result, we can see since the recoil speed is inversely proportional to mass of gun, and since the gun is heavy, so that's why recoil speed of gun is so small. That's why we feel only a jerk on our shoulder. And this negative sign shows that if the bullet is moving in the forward direction, the gun is recoiling in the backward direction. So that's why it is justified that our shoulder experiences a little backward jerk.